this is the developer portal for Twitter. I'll just ping also in the chat. You can open it, maybe this document. Okay, so if you see here, this is the main developer. I was telling right in before, like in the when I was explaining about the API lifecycle, right? So consumer side, so consumer will be using the developer portal. So publisher should publish the APIs. So this is the document. If you see, all these big guys like Twitter, Facebook, Google, everyone publish their APIs for the consumers, right? So if you see in this document, you can see Twitter API, Twitter Ads API, Twitter for websites, Twitter for developer lab, the different categories. Okay, so if I go to Twitter API, for example, you can see no, Twitter API version 2, right? So this is the early access they are giving. So premium version 1.1, standard 1.1, right? So you can go to that, and if you see like okay, tweets, for example, right? So first thing is fundamentals. So any API you want to use, there will be some fundamental concepts, and then you can go ahead with the actual APIs. For example, timeline API, right? So if I click on timeline, you can see here, introduction. For example, how a Twitter timeline, what is an Twitter timeline, right? Then you can go to quick start. It will say how you can actually it has an option to use that using Postman. You can see all this integration here, right? So sample code, for example, suppose I am a developer and I want to try out Twitter APIs, so they will give the sample codes. Okay, so what you need basically a developer account. So you have to apply for developer account, and once developer account is approved by Twitter, so you can get your keys to access the APIs. It's a simple process. Okay. Yeah, there's an option here. See, add Twitter API version 2 to Postman. All this integration. See, Postman again another application, right? So now why actually Twitter is giving no this option to integrate to Postman? Can any one of you tell me?
Maybe to check the response that it gets.
Yeah, so to try it out basically, right? So see, to try an API, we need a client, right? Now, what Postman is doing, they are basically selling their product, right? So they have a client. Although it is a free, they have a paid version also. Since suppose I want to, I am a consumer of Twitter no, application, and before no integrating those Twitter APIs, I want to try it or test it. Now, basically, if I want to try, I need a client, right? To hit the API from that client. Now, if you see here, this is a business, again, a business strategy. So both the platforms are coming together here.
Yeah,
So
like you told, the a win-win situation for both of them.
yes, correct. So Twitter API version 2. See, if you see here, this is the sandbox they are giving. Okay. So they are telling like, okay, how to install a collection, basically a Postman collection, right? Then what and all you need, like consumer key, consumer secret, token, right? Bearer token.
DP,
Then yeah,
may I interrupt for a second?
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone are using the word sandbox. May I know what sandbox means, Dimpy?
Okay. So basically, sandbox is a safer environment you can say consider to actually run anything. All these platform developer and guys, right? So what they'll do, for example, Twitter is actually giving you some APIs, right? And you want to run that APIs in a secure environment, right? So either they can give expose that from via their environment only. Okay, so basically what you need to do, you need to log in. When you log in, okay, they will give you all these access tokens and all. You can actually run it here only. If you see in the left side, right side, the black color thing, right?
Yeah.
There will be option to run it here. Now I have not logged in, but if you logged in, then and if you are a developer, you can run it securely from this environment only.
Okay. Not even the need for Postman, etc. A secure environment
Yeah,
to run Twitter APIs. Okay.
yes. Same thing like Spotify also. I'll show you that when we do the demo and example sessions.
Okay.
You can run it in their environment.
Okay.
It's not only for APIs, okay? So anything like, all these SDK development guys, right? So they give their sandboxes. For example, GitLab or GitHub, right?
Okay.
Suppose you want to try out some commands, right, securely, so they will give you their environment. For you it will be look like a browser kind of stuff, but internally all the things will happen in their environment.
Okay.
So
A
that is
secure.
called a sandbox environment,
Yeah.
like
A
a testing environment.
testing testing or a secure testing environment for their own application is known as sandbox.
Yes, correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so even all these payment gateways and all, right, PayPal and all, they gives their sandboxes. So you can securely actually use their APIs. Even they give all these fake credit cards and all for testing.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Yeah. So after that, all these things, the parameters of your APIs. Then what you can do, you can go to your environment from where you will be running it. For example, Postman. So take the API. You have to create your collections and all, and then you can run it. So I'll show you the basic Postman setup. I'm not sure if you are already having it. So just download the Postman desktop app. Okay. So after download, you can actually, there'll be an option to log in. Okay. And then you can create your workspaces here. Workspace is nothing but your environment where you will be running your APIs. So after you create your own workspace can be public or workspace can be private. So depending on your need, you can create. If you want to expose the APIs which you are testing, you can create a public workspace. Otherwise, you can create a private workspace here. Okay. Once you create the workspace, if you see here, workspaces, there will be option to create workspace. Okay, you can give a name, summary, like it is a personal only for you, or it is private, or it is for your team or public. You can create the workspace. Okay, so once you create the workspace, for example, I have created one. Okay, so if you go to collections, okay, so you can create a new collection. And after creating the collection, you can create multiple collections under a workspace. After creating a collections, you can add your request here, like what are the requests you want to add. For example, day one, I created something. So after creating it, uh, you can get your add your APIs. This we will do it tomorrow, like how we can actually add our APIs here, but just for your reference, I'm showing. I will go through all these Postman features, in deep in the coming sessions. But for time being, what you both can do, install it and just play around with the Postman. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so then I will also show in the upcoming sessions like how we can actually use Karate DSL. Okay, so Karate DSL is another tool for API testing. It is providing DSL, domain specific language, for writing your test. So you really don't need to write any code for using Karate DSL, but it's a very powerful tool, and I want all of you to learn that. And we'll be using this Chrome console also to see what is happening under the hood. I'll show you quickly. For example, if you just inspect it, right, so you have this developer console. So there is a network tab here. So all the network calls which is happening in this browser tab, you can see here. Okay, let me clear. And if I just refresh it, you can see the network calls here. So we leverage this, like when we do the actual API test, when we write the test, we will see the response from the Chrome console. So Chrome console now give you a access or handler to see the request and response quickly. Like for example, what is the status code, what exactly it is returning, right? So all those things you can see from the Chrome console itself. Okay, so we'll use Chrome console, as well as we'll use Postman to quick start, and then I'll introduce 1 second, Karate DSL for automation. Yeah, you can actually very well automate everything from Postman. But one more tool I want to introduce, because depending on your team requirement, you may need to use all these tools. And Fiddler is similar to the how you are actually seeing in the Chrome console, but it has additional things. You can actually track all your network calls in Fiddler. So we'll see that. And there is another called Wiremock. Wiremock is used for mocking. Suppose you are testing third-party applications, right? So you may need to mock the response of those calls. So we'll be using Wiremock. Again, you can use or leverage Postman for creating mocks. I will show you that as well. And even you can use Karate DSL has a support for mocking. So yeah, those are like integrated tools. And again, no, sometimes some companies, they use rest assured kind of framework, and then maybe Wiremock for mocking. So I just want you to be hands on all those tools.